Well, we are less than 24 hours from Election Day. In this unusual and challenging year, voters want to be confident that the election results are trustworthy.
A statewide nonpartisan organization has been working all year to preserve the integrity of this election. Earlier today, we spoke with Meghan Roe from Opportunity Wisconsin. Tell us a little bit about your organization. What is Opportunity Wisconsin's mission?
Sure. So Opportunity Wisconsin, we are a nonpartisan issue advocacy organization. We work across the state to amplify the stories of Wisconsinites that have been impacted by economic policy specifically. So whether that is the family farmer who may have had to sell all their cattle, or the senior who can't keep up with the rising cost of prescription drugs, or the small business owner that saw no benefit from the recent tax cuts.
The organization has also been working very hard to preserve the integrity of this election, which is on a lot of people's minds. What has the organization's role been in making sure that every single vote counts?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so I think, first of all, I think it's important to note that in order for our democracy to work for all of us, that means every vote must be counted. So we've been spending a lot of time doing education and outreach, and today we'll be sending a memo to Wisconsin elected officials, kind of reiterating that message. First of all, thanking them for the work they're doing to ensure a free and fair election, but then also asking them to leverage their platform to remind voters that we might not have a result tomorrow night, to remain patient. If things are taking a little bit longer, it's, our democracy is working as intended, and really to just remind folks to have that patience and remind them to make sure that every vote is being counted.
And how can you ensure that?
Yeah, well, I think Wisconsin in particular has a long track record and a successful track record of having free and fair elections. Our Wisconsin Elections Commission has very strong relationships with state and federal agencies, as well as with our local elected officials. And research shows that local elected officials are some of our most trusted messengers. And so, if we're not finding out the results for a day or two after tomorrow, we can really look to our local elected officials to instill that confidence in our communities to make sure that every vote is counted.
And it's important for people to remember that election night results are never official on election night. That is true for every state in the country, even in a regular year. So if there's an extended ballot counting period and tallies are changing, that's to be expected. People should not see that as a signal that something is awry, right?
Yeah, that is correct. As I said before, we in Wisconsin have a long track record of having these free and fair elections. Our local elected officials are excellent messengers in order to instill confidence in the electorate. At Opportunity Wisconsin, we're very much focused on getting out this message that in order for our democracy to work, every vote must be counted. And so we're working very hard to make sure that happens.
Mm-hmm. This election is certainly contentious, and some people are worried that whoever loses this might not accept the results. How can we change that?
Well, I think at the end of the day, regardless of who you vote for, it's going to be critically important that we come together and move forward together and tackle some of the very real issues that people are seeing across the Badger State, whether it's COVID or healthcare, or ensuring that everyone has a fair shot to get ahead. Coming together and moving forward is going to be very important.
Well, as you said, clerks and election officials work very hard to preserve transparency in this process. That should be reassuring for voters as we go into Election Day tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we already know that we are on track for historic turnout numbers, especially when it comes to mail-in ballots and absentee ballots. But, that's something that we've seen in Wisconsin across several elections. Mail-in and absentee ballots are a thing that many people have taken advantage of, especially folks that are elderly or have health conditions. And so our system here in Wisconsin is prepared and ready to process those ballots. And it'll just be a matter of there being a higher volume of them. And it'll take a little bit longer, which is okay. And as I said before, it's a sign that our democracy is working. We're just very much focused on ensuring that regardless of how long it takes, that all those ballots are being counted.
Patience.
24 hours. Here we go.
And if you haven't, go out and vote tomorrow.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being with us today.
Meghan, thank you
you
so much for your time. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
A vote counted is a voice heard.
That's right. That's exactly right.